Hello everyone, Stjepan here. I'll go over the game from round 6 of the Zagreb Championship, and I have to say I'm happy I finally played a good game and managed to win. I was playing against an opponent rated about 200 points higher than I am. He's about 2050 something. And he usually doesn't play the Alekhine Defense, which he played here. He plays the Scandinavian almost exclusively. And I spent about 5 hours preparing for the Scandinavian, and I found a system which I thought would work. However, after pawn to e4, he thought for about 10 minutes and then played knight to f6. And I didn't prepare this for him at all, but I prepared a setup I managed to get in the opening for an opponent I was supposed to face in a tournament a month ago. And I actually knew this setup very well, and I knew all the moves, and I knew the evaluations, and I thought immediately after knight to f6 I was happy because I had finally prepared something against the Aljohin, and I played it twice in a tournament game, both times against my coach, who is about 2350, a FIDE master, and he crushed me, and then I started to work on it, and now I think the setup I prepared, this is why I won that easily. So e5 here, knight to d5, and here not d4, not c4, but knight to f3, which somewhat reduces black's options in the moves to follow. So d6 here, and after I play c4, he has to play knight to b6. Now I take on d6, he takes d6 and d4. And now I have a comfortable queen's pawn opening position with his strange knight on b6 completely misplaced and a permanent weakness on h7. So I was happy with this, and bishop to e7 was played, and now I played bishop to e3, and my plan is to play bishop e3, bishop d3, queen to c2, and simple checkmate, which is exactly what, okay, it's what almost happened. He managed to save himself, but still lost a lot of material. Here he castled bishop to d3, bishop g4, knight b to d2, and here in my preparation, of course, I was looking at the critical move f5, which he did play, which is threatening to trap the bishop here. And this variation, which I prepared, includes a pawn sacrifice. And here I have to play d5, and my calculation was bishop to f6. And after bishop to f6, I have to play either queen to c2, and then he would play rook to e8, and I can't castle, or I lose the b2 pawn. And luckily for me, he played f4. Which is an inferior move, and I played bishop to d4. And here he played another move which I don't quite understand. What he should have played is c5. And this was, I prepared this as well. And here I was calculating c5, and after c5, if I take en passant, my center is crumbling. If I don't, of course, I have to remove my bishop from d4. But he played c6, which is far too slow, and now I played queen to c2, sacrificing a pawn. And in this position, he has to react, and he has to save his position somehow, because now I have time to castle both sides. My b2 pawn isn't hanging, my knight can recapture the bishop, so after bishop to f6 I don't have to take, because my bishop isn't hanging on d4. Prior to this it was, when the queen was on d1, because if bishop takes I can't play knight takes, because bishop takes queen. So now my position is perfect and winning. And here, even if he plays perfectly, I'm sure that he can't hold it, but he played c takes d4, which is a horrible blunder. I don't know the engine evaluation, but I know that it's completely losing. And now I played bishop takes h7, winning a pawn, king to h8, and here I was calculating two moves. The first and the most obvious one, which I ended up playing, was bishop takes g7. And now, one thing you should be aware of is that it doesn't work if you simply recapture the piece. So bishop g7, king g7, queen to g6, king to h8. If I take here, he takes my bishop, and this is much. This is almost equal, but it's slightly better for white because I have a lot more activity and his pieces are undeveloped. However, this variation wouldn't work. So. After bishop takes g7, I ended up playing something else, but first let me show you what else I was looking at. So after bishop h7, king h8, I was looking at the move c5. And the point of the move c5 in my mind was to free up the e5 square. So I was planning, if he doesn't take, then if this happens, then I'm going to play this anyway. I think, no, I'm not going to play that. Wait. If this happens, yeah, I'm simply going to take here. And then if he captures, then I'm removing the bishop from this diagonal, so this is good. And what I was calculating is that after c5, if d takes c5, then I can play knight to e5, sacrificing my bishop, and I would have some dangerous checks here. So let's say he takes here, check. I was looking at this, and he would have to play here, and this is no, it's not checkmate. He could play king to h8, and then I would grab the rook as well, and I think I would stand okay here. I think white is winning here. So that was c5, but after bishop takes h7 and king to h8, I knew I had to make bishop takes g7 work, and it actually did work. When I took a lot of time to calculate, but I found queen to h6. So after bishop takes g7, king takes g7, queen to g6 check, king to h8, I played queen to h6, and now there's basically no defense. He's going to have to give back material and have a much worse position with an unsafe king. Here, I think he played the only move, rook to f7, and now I can play bishop to f5, winning the bishop, or I can play something better, which is bishop to g6. So after this, I can grab this bishop. And this was better. I knew this was better after the game, of course. In the game, after rook to f7, I played bishop to f5, because I saw that I could win the rook anyway with bishop to e6, and I was happy with that position too. So after bishop to f5, he has to play king to g8, bishop takes g4, and here he can play, he can't move his king, he can't unpin his king. If he moves his rook, he is lost. If he plays bishop to f6, then bishop to e6, and he played queen to e7, but that doesn't work, that doesn't win my bishop, because I have queen to g6 check. And I simply win an exchange. So after king to f8, queen f7, bishop f7, king f7, I'm a pawn and an exchange up and completely winning. So here I took on d5, he took on b2, which I think was a mistake. Rook b1, bishop c3, this is now just technically winning position castles. Knight a6, knight to e4, I have to optimize my pieces. Bishop b4, rook fd1, rook e8, and here, yeah, this is a tactic, he missed a simple tactic, because this pawn is only defended by the bishop, so I took rook takes b4, he can't take my knight because I win a piece, so he has to take knight b4, and now knight takes d6, winning another exchange, winning back the exchange, which I just lost. So king to e7, knight takes, king takes d6, knight 4 to d5, knight to e5, I have to prevent his king from entering the squares around my pawn. He played king to d8, I played d7. Now whichever piece he moves, he is losing. He played king to e7, and now he can't move the king, he can't move the knight, he can't move the other knight. If he moves this knight, I'm queening. If he moves this knight, I'm winning the knight on d5. If he moves the king towards my knight, I'm going to queen. He can only go back with the king and move the pawns. Those are his only moves, so I played h4, and my pawn is going to queen in 4 moves. There's nothing he can do about it. I'm getting a queen either on the h file or on the d file. And here my opponent resigned. As always, I didn't use the engine. I can run the engine analysis now, just to see where I went wrong and where he could have played better. So this was all my preparation. Okay, after bishop to d3, knight b to d2 is a good move. f5, d5 is okay, and here he has to play bishop f6. I know that's the best. And the engine wants me to play rook to b1, but I would play either queen to c2 or castle. I believe queen to c2. And now if f4, I would simply take the knight. That was my idea. And if something else, I would castle. So I think I would be okay here. So, but after f4, the engine wants me to take on b6. I really don't want to give up my dark squared bishop if I can put it on d4. But now once again, it wants him to play bishop f6, of course, not c6, which is a mistake. And now once again, queen to c2. And this is what I was afraid of. So let's say rook to e8, check. King to f1. No, rook to e8 is a mistake. He wants queen to e7 is better, or queen to e8. Okay, let's say queen to e7, king to f1. And now I don't have castling rights, my rook is stuck. Okay, I can play h4, h5, but I didn't want to give up castling. And I think his king is safer with the queen around, of course. Yeah, that's why the engine wants him to play queen to e7 and not rook to e8. But let's go back. After d5, f4, bishop d4, c6, yeah, queen to c2. Now he doesn't have time to do that because I don't have to take the bishop or anything, because my knight isn't pinned anymore. So c d5, okay, this is +5. Bishop h7, king h8, bishop g7 is the best move, king to g7, queen to g6, king to h8, queen to h6 is the best, rook to f7, He could have played bishop to g5 also. How is that good? Bishop g5? Knight g5. Ah, okay, because he has queen to e7 check. Okay. Yeah, but this, I don't think that's good. I think rook to f7 was better. And now bishop to g6 is much better, which I knew after the game, but I played bishop to f5. This is +2 only, but still winning. Yeah, this is bishop to e6 was the best. So yeah, I don't have to look at this any further. I think it was a good game. I finally managed to get a win at the Zagreb Championship. I now have a few points, ELO points plus, and it actually turned out to be a good tournament after the first 3 rounds, which were horrible, 2 losses and 1 draw. And yeah, on Monday we are playing round 7, the final round, and I'm playing an opponent rated about 2000, so I have a chance to have a great tournament if I manage to win. Okay, thanks very much for watching. I hope you got an idea on how to create an attacking setup against the Alekhine Defense, or if you are an American, the Alekhine Defense. Just try to exploit the fact that the h7 pawn is weak and that the knight should be on f6 and not on b6. And that's why the bishops belong on d3 and d3, and those batteries are powerful weapon, and you can often harm black. Of course, my opponent could have played better, but still I think I gave him enough problems in the defense that he had to make at least one mistake. Okay, everybody, thanks very much for watching and stay tuned for more chess. Bye.